Mazer versus Ender. Who is the most courageous character? Theodore Roosevelt once said, "Courage is not having the strength to go on, it is going on when you don't have the strength." Displaying courage can be unyielding, and in some situations it may seem impossible to have or show. Throughout history, books have shown the most courageous character, who has integrity, is a leader, and takes action. In the science fiction novel Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card, Mazer Rackham is the most courageous character. Mazer Rackham shows astounding courage through his leadership. Throughout the novel, he is mentioned to be the world's savior or hero because he leads a Starfleet to demolish the buggers and all they had built to make a new territory for his people. It is explained as Mazer's suicidal plunge into the heart of the enemy formation, the single explosion, and then nothing. Card 267. Mazer uses a device named Dr. Device to kill off all the buggers about 70 years ago, and is still puzzled at how he did it. He goes through the tapes many times, trying to figure out what occurred and why they just dropped dead so abruptly. Many still try to conclude how it all happened. Another attribute of courage is taking action. Throughout the novel, mainly in Chapter 14, Ender's Teacher, Mazer is credited with reacting to many situations with initiative. One of the situations he had to face was leaving behind everything to teach the commander that would get rid of the last of the buggers. He was forced to enter a spaceship, stay on it for about 50 years, and come back. This would allow him to retain all of his knowledge, pass it on to the new commander. He had to leave behind his family, fame, and chance to fight the buggers again. And then I turned around and came home. A very dull voyage under 50 years in space. Officially only 8 years past me, but it felt like 500. Also, I could teach the next commander everything I knew. Card 266. One of the most major aspects of courage is integrity. For the duration of Chapter 14, Ender's Teacher, Mazer is noticeably truthful with his student Ender. Whenever Ender has a question that the answer probably shouldn't be shared with him, Mazer answers it anyway. Many of these questions involve revealing top-secret information or tapes. Mazer shows Ender all the battles in one piece so they could strategize and learn from past mistakes. Many of the scenes have been censored and aren't meant for Ender's young eyes. These scenes are crucial to explaining why Mazer is considered courageous. An example of information Ender shouldn't have known is when Ender defeats the buggers in the third invasion. Ender assumes it was all game or simulation, and he was supposed to keep thinking that way for a while. Mazer thinks it's for the better that Ender knows what he did and why everyone would be celebrating him, so he tells Ender what he really did. He explains that this entire time he had been lying to Ender and that he was proud of him for what he did. Ender, for the past few months, you have been the battle commander of our fleets. This was the third invasion. There were no games, the battles were real, and the only enemy you fought was the buggers. Card 296. This information mentally affected Ender, but it was for the greater good. Mazer showed great honesty when he explained what he had done to Ender. Others may declare that Ender is the most courageous character in the novel Ender's Game, but this statement is false. Mazer did everything Ender did before Ender was even alive. He commands and leads the first invasion before Ender. He left his family behind for better, and Mazer has more integrity than Ender. Ender commands the Starfleet for the third invasion. Many say that this takes a great deal of courage, but Ender didn't even know he was facing the buggers. They knew that if Ender knew, he wouldn't have killed them. "Of course we tricked you into it. That's the whole point," said Graf. "It had to be a trick or you couldn't have done it." It affected Ender mentally, and instead of dealing with it, showing bravery, he decided to make a huge deal about it. It made him feel as though he was a killer. In the beginning of the novel, Ender leaves home to go to battle school. It was later revealed that Mazer went to space for 50 years to teach Ender. They both left their families to fight the buggers, even if it meant not seeing them for less than a decade or more than a decade. Mazer left first, also he could teach Ender what he knew. Ender left, but he still saw his family because he was only gone for 6 years. Ender doesn't always show integrity. There were many points in the book where he lied to save someone or himself. Having integrity takes a great deal of courage because it could get you or someone else in trouble if you say or do the wrong things. It could hurt someone mentally or physically, and that's why it's so hard to be honest. No matter the question or demonstration, Mazer always gives a proper answer, even if he knows it could be harmful to the person receiving it. He always told the truth, even if it meant sacrificing top secret information. Also, Ender would be prepared. Ender doesn't tell all of his secrets. He is even sometimes secretive towards other characters. He doesn't always express his feelings or tell people what he's doing. This is sometimes courageous, but at other times a bit cowardly. Mazer shows courage throughout the book and is more courageous than the main character, Ender. He shows more integrity than anyone in the book, and he steps forward when actions are necessary. He is an amazing leader. He is understanding and compassionate. He was Ender before Ender even existed. Therefore, in the science fiction novel Ender's Game, Mazer Rackham is the most courageous character.